Breaking news in the NBA, news that I was not expecting today. Kind of in the middle of a whole bunch of different crazy coaching turnover and changes. Remember, a few weeks ago, Taylor Jenkins was let go by the Memphis Grizzlies. And now, in a stunning turn of events, the Denver Nuggets have fired coach Michael Malone, sources tell ESPN. And the timing of this decision, again, very similar to the Taylor Jenkins firing, is very odd. Right before the NBA playoffs. We're literally a week away from the NBA season ending and the playoffs starting. So the Denver Nuggets make a decision here to let go of Michael Malone. They fired him today in a meeting in person. And the Nuggets are currently the 4 seed in the Western Conference with a 47-32 record. And honestly, I'm pretty shocked by this. Obviously, I'm giving my live reaction to this now. I hope you guys do enjoy the content. If you do, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. This is shocking to me. Not only did Michael Malone win a championship with the organization, but to fire him right before the playoffs in a year where, after losing in back-to-back off seasons Bruce Brown and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, I feel like the Nuggets have internally done a good job at building up their own players, seeing development internally. You think about the Nuggets and the growth this year from a guy like Christian Brown, who filled into that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope role very well. The roster here is not set up in a way that I think is most congruent with winning around Nikola Jokic. Obviously, you do have arguably the best player in the entire world, the best center in the world right now. That obviously helps winning a lot. And I think, at the heart of how good this Denver Nuggets team has been Nikola Jokic. But I think Michael Malone has really done a lot of things that bring out the best from Nikola Jokic and the supporting cast around him, including when they won an NBA championship less than 24 months ago. So this is just honestly insane. We're going to go back over to Sham's page here now to check out anything else. But again, what he tweets here: days before the NBA playoffs, the Nuggets dismissed Malone in a meeting today. Malone is the winningest coach in franchise history since being hired in 2015. And like I've said multiple times in this video, led the Nuggets to the 2023 NBA championship. They are literally 1.5 games back of the 3 seed right now at the time, obviously, we're recording this, and at the time he got fired. Now, they are in the middle of a 4-game losing skid, which is perhaps part of what went into this decision, maybe a sense of urgency from the Nuggets front office specifically. But when it comes to urgency, it's hard for me to picture this team being better off going into the playoffs after firing their head coach. We'll see. We're going to have to monitor who they're going to look at replacing him with. Obviously, internal hires. Interim coaching is probably the route they're going to go. Now, a few years ago, remember, the Minnesota Timberwolves did fire, during the middle of the season, Ryan Saunders to hire Chris Finch from another organization. So, at the point in time I'm recording this, we don't have the information yet on if Denver is making an external or internal hire for the either interim or long-term head coaching position at this point in time. But there's been examples in the past of teams making that external hire in the season, most recently being the Minnesota Timberwolves with the Chris Finch hire. But more than likely, very similar to what happened in Memphis, it's probably going to be an internal interim head coach situation going on. And again, I just don't understand really the decision behind this. Michael Malone has been someone at the forefront of talking about how coaches oftentimes get shortchanged in the NBA and how they unrightfully get fired. And I feel like this is an example of that here, where Denver has made a lot of tough decisions, specifically within the CBA and the salary cap, and trying to save money on their roster. And as a result of that, they have had a diminished team. Think back to last year's playoff series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where they came up short against the Wolves in a very grueling 7-game series. If they have a Bruce Brown in that series, do they come out on top, and do they maybe hoist another Larry O'Brien trophy? I think a lot of people would have favored them over Dallas. Many people would have favored them over Boston as well last year. But their roster has been picked apart a little bit through free agency. Losing Bruce Brown to Indiana obviously was then later traded multiple times, but then also losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Even though they've done a good job internally kind of filling in some of those roles, like I mentioned with Christian Brown, obviously Peyton Watson's another guy who has started to step up in the last couple of years. And they brought in Russell Westbrook, who has been, I think, a decent success story for them this year. But you also think about this 4-game losing skid. Russell Westbrook in Minnesota against the Timberwolves, like, contributed to that. Shot clock's off, takes a shot at the end of the game that he doesn't need to take, misses the layup, then fouls a three-point shooter to lose the game for Denver. There's a lot of things that have gone into this season not being a total cakewalk for Denver despite having Nikola Jokic. I do not think Michael Malone was at the heart of their problems. I think that they have other roster structural problems on their team when it comes to certain pieces. And one thing about Michael Malone specifically, I do know Tim Connolly. I have talked with him, listened to him speak multiple times as well. And one thing he talked about was Michael Malone's importance on continuity and how he valued keeping players around and valued building something. And it's really odd to me that Denver is ripping that apart here now by firing Michael Malone just a week before the NBA playoffs begin. It's honestly insane, and a huge shocker here. The Grizzlies, obviously, were a team that made that big decision with Taylor Jenkins. Since then, they've struggled to win games. They're 3-7 in their last 10. Now you look at Denver, who is also 3-7 in their last 10 with this 4-game losing skid we've talked about multiple times in this video. Are they going to be better off in the short-term future because of this decision? I don't think so. I don't like this for Denver. If you wanted to go a different direction, I would have waited until the offseason. Very similar to how I felt about the Taylor Jenkins situation. It's just very, very odd timing. Obviously, there is a sense of urgency. Clearly, the front office and organization is looking to go in a different direction. I'm just very, very surprised and shocked by the timing of all of this. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.